We welcome you to the Convocation Center here at Ohio University. We've got a MAC action matchup here. It's the Ohio Bobcats taking on the Eastern Michigan Eagles. I'm Max Earl, with me is Tyler Bush. And Tyler, this is a good matchup. Two teams towards the bottom of the MAC looking to win some games and give them the opportunity to get into that MAC tournament here.
Yeah, they're both on a pretty long win streak. Eastern Michigan winning 2 in a row. Ohio, after beating Miami twice, on a 3-game win streak. They're looking to extend that even more here today. Eastern Michigan got some great stats on paper. They haven't really been able to turn it into anything on the court. Ohio kind of looking opposite. They don't have the best stats, but it's resulted in a few wins the last few games. They're kind of turning things around. Everything's coming together for the Bobcats. Eastern Michigan's trying to stop that win streak from continuing, though, and get back into the win column.
Yeah, and these two teams that have had a lot of errors. The two teams leading the MAC in attack errors, Ohio with 469, Eastern Michigan with 443. They've got to shore that up in this one. And Ohio, like you mentioned, they had an 11-game losing streak before they finally won one against Kent State, and then they won both battles of the bricks. And now they're here coming off a 3-game win streak. Eastern Michigan will get us started. Here comes the serve from Grasson. Propped up, set, knocked down in the first point to Ohio. That one killed by Bailey Blair.
Yeah, that's no surprise. She was completely unstoppable in both games against Miami, had double-digit kills both nights. And that slide we saw from her a lot, too. No one was able to block it, and she gets it started there, too.
Maddie Long with the serve there for Ohio, too long. And a service error for Ohio gives Eastern Michigan their first point.
Yeah, it's also something that's been there the entire Ohio season. A lot of aces, but quite a few errors to go with it on the service side.
Here to serve it now for Eastern Michigan. Sierra Nivasan. Line drive there, going to be dug up. Set, and Maddie Long. It's going to be deflected. Good block there by Ohio. Set up again from the outside. Stop there, and here is Brown. She hit that one over. Tipped over. Play continues, trying to get that one down. It's blocked, but it goes out of bounds. And Ohio will get the point there.
That one, just some good play by Kendall White. We've seen her step into her role as the solo setter here, not splitting time anymore. Kind of dropped to the ground at the start of that, got back up for the nice set.
Served by Hickey. Hit up the set, and the kill attempt there from Mahler, not going to go. Eastern Michigan trying to save that one. They're not going to be able to get it. Good dig there, but ultimately too hard for them to control, and now Ohio goes up by 3.
Yeah, just a lot of out-of-system play there from Eastern Michigan. Couldn't really get both hands under that ball. You could tell by the way they couldn't get it control.
Hickey the serve. That one a good kill from Welker. No one in the area to stop that one for Ohio. Coming in to serve it here for Eastern Michigan is Voorhees. Serve coming. Fielded there. There's the set, and Waddell tried to get that one down. It's deflected well by Eastern Michigan. Here's another set. This one just tipped over by Brown. Setter going to get it over the net there. Trying to get it across the court is Eastern Michigan. They're still playing with it. Good setup high there for Brown. And the hit over there going to be fielded again. Waddell tips it over. Good stop by Eastern Michigan, and the block there from Ohio. Waddell getting tall on that one.
Yeah, that just a really good rally from both teams. Neither of them were really able to get the set into the hit that they were looking for, but that block, they were just monstrous up front. A lot of touches from both sides before it's finally put down.
Here's the serve from Ohio, dug up there by Eastern Michigan. They keep it in play. Here's the set from White. Waddell tried to spike it there across the court. Welker getting it over. Brown trying to keep it alive, and she does. And the point there goes to Eastern Michigan.
Yeah, just unfortunate there. I believe that one was 4 touches on Ohio.
The serve from Eastern Michigan there going to be fielded by Long. White will set it up for Waddell, who just tips it over. Dug up there. Eastern Michigan guard gets that one over. Srinivasan gets it over to the outside. Here's Brown trying to spike that one down, and it's off the Eastern Michigan defender, and Ohio will get the point.
Brown is really someone you can point to these last few games and say that's the reason that Ohio's been performing so well, averaging just over 12 kills a game in the last 5 games. Double digits both games against Miami. Had 1 down game, and then 2 before that were 16 and 17.
She had 33 kills in 2 games. As she started getting hot. That one too much on it. Eastern Michigan will take the point. Again, you see the attack errors. Been something that has tormented both teams all season. We'll try to get that under control as here comes the serve from Eastern Michigan. Hit up there. Waddell tries to spike it down. Playing with it at the net. White gets it towards the back. Good stop there by Evans. And Waddell again. Strong hit, still deflected. Good dig up there by Hickey. Setting it up. Gar going to try to hit it over, and a good block there by Kendall White. And Ohio is playing strong at the net right now.
Yeah, not usually what we see from them. Dead last in the MAC, and blocks per set most certainly changed against Miami. They were stepping up big time, but they're going to need that to continue if they want to win here against Eastern Michigan.
Serve there, going to be set up. Guard will try to hit it down, and she does. Anna Guard will get her first kill of the game. And this set pretty close here to start, 6-5. Belcher here to serve it for Eastern Michigan. Set up by White, and a good spike there by Evans. 7-5 now. And Kendall White will serve it for Ohio. Both teams doing a good job of setting it up for each other. As White gets the serve across the court, it's going to be set up. Spiking it down there, deflected off of Kendall White. Hickey hits it up, and Waddell got way too much on that one. Eastern Michigan will get the point, makes it 6-7 here.
Yeah, that's really how Miami was able to take a set from Ohio when they played last week. Taking Kendall White out of that equation, targeting her on that first hit, make her take the dig instead of setting it up. That's how Eastern Michigan's going to have to win today.
Serve up and over. White sets it up there. Evans tries to just tip it over. Gentry Brown sets it back up. And there is Kildow. She gets the point for Ohio. And she'll sub out. 8-6 the score here in set 1. Ohio to serve it. Here's Curran. Gets it up and over, and it's in there. Service ace barely inside the back right corner. And the first service ace of the game goes to the Bobcats. Waddell to serve. Up and over. Trying to get it down there is Mahler. Ohio keeping it alive, gets it over the net, but it's way out. And Eastern Michigan will get the point there. 9-7 the score. And Srinivasan will get the serve for Eastern Michigan.
Yeah, I've seen from good hustle from Ohio, like on that play. They just haven't really been able to draw in the errors to pull away in this one.
Srinivasan, the line drive over there. Dug by Hickey. Spiked down by White. Get over. Hickey will set it up. White trying to set it up there. And Bailey Blair couldn't get tall enough to get that one under control, and it goes out for an attack error.
Yeah, unfortunately for her there, that set from Kendall White was never going to be great. Far too close to the net when she got a hand on it. It was one-handed. Just incredibly hard to be able to hit that precisely.
Srinivasan the serve. Hit up by Hickey there. Just mental error there. Couldn't get that one up. And now we've got a tie game again here. 9-9 in the first set. Eastern Michigan looking for their first lead of this set. Sierra Navasan serves it up and over. White sets it up. Gentry Brown will just tip it up and over. And a beautiful little tip there from Gentry Brown gets her the kill.
Yeah, Ohio, to open up at the first 10 points, already hitting a lot better than they do on the season, hitting about 22%, much better than their season average.
And the spike there. Good hit from Sifke. She'll get her first kill of the day.
Yeah, that was always going to be a kill there. One blocker up, targeting your setter. Low chance that one was going to be any good on the reception.
Here's the serve. Up and over. Fielded. Trying to set it up for Waddell there. Sierra Navasan hits it, but it's going to go way out. And it'll be an Ohio point. They'll take the lead again in this set. This set very back and forth right now. Maddie Long going to serve it for Ohio. Up and over. Trying to set it up there for Mahler. Not going to work. Here's Gentry Brown. Sierra Navasan able to deflect that one. Just tipping it over there is Welker. I think he gets that one up. Gentry Brown will try to get it over. It's dug up again. And that time, Mahler's hit will go in for the Eastern Michigan point.
Yeah, good placement there on that hit. Everyone had sort of been creeping up and to the closer side of your screen. Targets that zone 5 area back there, right on the line between 5 and 6. Nobody there at that moment.
Serve for Eastern Michigan going to be dug up. White just going to tip it over. Good dig by Sierra Navasan to keep it alive. Welker's hit. Not going to go down. White sets it up there. Still alive. Hickey sets it up for White, who gets it over to Waddell. To the block. Here's Brown now trying to get it down, and it stays inside off the Eastern Michigan defender. And Ohio will get the point.
Just an unfortunate ricochet for Eastern Michigan there. Hits off the inside of the left arm. Comes closer to that out-of-bounds line and just drops right at the defeat.
Hit up by Sierra Navasan. Trying to get it down there was Waddell. And the missed block there from Ohio gives Eastern Michigan the point.
Yeah, kind of just out of position there on that one was Emily Waddell. Tried to capitalize on an overpass, couldn't get it, was slow over to that right blocking side. Resulted in a pretty easy shot there.
Welker will serve it there. Hit up, White gets it out to Kildo. Good dig there by Eastern Michigan and a good block. White sets it up for Brown, who just gets it up and over. Here's Guard trying to get it down. White sets it up there for Kildo, and it's barely outside. Eastern Michigan will get the point.
Yeah, that one, a lot of power behind that, but like you said, just dropped a little too late. Barely outside the line on that one. Pretty unfortunate end to a altogether out of system Ohio attack.
White trying to save this one, an awkward first possession for Ohio off the serve. And it's going to go off of Ohio there. Eastern Michigan now up to a 2-point lead. Ohio got to be careful not to let these mistakes get them down early as Eastern Michigan will serve again. White trying to set it up. There's Waddell trying to spike it down. Mahler hitting it over. White setting it up again. Kildo just going to tip it over, and a good save there by Voorhees, and it's going to be down. Curran couldn't get under that one for the dig, and Eastern Michigan up by 3 now as we'll get our first time out of the set. We'll step away for just a second. We welcome you back here, Maction here on a Thursday night in the Convocation Center at Ohio University. 15-12, the score here in set one. Eastern Michigan on a 4-point run right now, and they're trying to extend that here with this serve. Neither team really been in control yet, though. White tips it over, and Ohio will get the point. The lead down to 2 points.
Seen that a few times from White the entire season. Just barely got that one off this time. Something that I'm sure teams are watching for at this point in the season.
Using her height there just to tip it over the net. Waddell looking to serve this one. Little confusion here on the sideline.
Down ref at the table. For what reason, I'm not sure.
We might get a challenge here.
I don't think I've seen.
Nothing really challenging it, though. They huddle up. Talking, looks like towards the direction of Kenzie Brinkman, first-year head coach for Ohio.
I don't think anyone pulled out the challenge card, though. And like you said, not much to challenge there on that one.
Not sure what the confusion is down there right now. Like we mentioned before, these two teams that really need to win this series against each other. Somehow Ohio, or if Ohio can win two of them, like I said before, they could be top 4 in the MAC. Eastern Michigan 1 game behind in MAC play, but both these teams still have a good chance of making the MAC tournament if they can win this series.
Yeah, we're at the point of the season where everyone really does matter, especially in the middle of the MAC right now. Few teams packed at that 3 and 4 spot: Ohio, Buffalo, Miami, Northern Illinois. 2 wins for Ohio could put them squarely in that 5th place spot, something that they would love to be in. They obviously have some solid games in front of them, and Eastern Michigan really 4 and 5 here if they win both these games, 3 and 6 if they split them. You do need them to stay alive in hopes for the tournament.
Finally now we get the serve from Ohio, and it'll be a point for Ohio there. Service ace from Emily Waddell. She leads she's second on the team in service aces.
Yeah, that one was always going to go bad for one of the teams with a break that long beforehand.
And again, Eastern Michigan trying to save it, but they can't. And 2 service aces in a row for Ohio. 2 good serves in a row for Emily Waddell.
Yeah, and just like that, it's all squared up here. That is what happens when you have that double-edged sword of service errors and service aces. It can swing either way, and it's swinging the right way right now for Ohio.
Set up there, and Eastern Michigan able to get underneath that one for the point.
Yeah, that time zone 1 just completely uncovered. Found that little diagonal line between the 2 defenders, split them right there.
And over by Belcher. White trying to set it up. Kildo gets it up. Hickey keeps it alive. White sets it up again, and it's going to be blocked. Point for Eastern Michigan. And that is something that they do excel at. They're 3rd in the MAC in blocks. That's something they're going to have to try to play to here in this one. Set up by White. Kildo. It's going to be intercepted there by Sierra Navasin. Set up there for guard. A good dig by Ohio. Brown going to get it in. Gentry Brown gets another kill there. And the score 16-17. Ohio down by 1.
A good back row attack there from Brown. Tough call from Siefke, though. Could have let that one fly out.
Hit up by Siefke. Belcher trying to set it up there, and a good little hit over there by Mahler. Eastern Michigan up by 2 once again.
No one really in the driver's seat of this game, though. Just at that 20-point mark, and can't really tell which team's going to run away with this one.
Serve is up and over. White sets it. Evans trying to get it over. Belcher able to deal with it. Here's Mahler trying to get it up. And Kildo outside. Eastern Michigan with the point.
I think they're going to call a touch on that one. It's a Bobcat point.
Yeah. Ends up being good for the Bobcats.
Yeah, card's coming out, though.
Down.
Challenge card is out on the table for Eastern Michigan.
It's their first challenge of the game. Try to get another look at it here in a second. And this one pretty big, would give Eastern Michigan a 3-point lead. One of the biggest leads we've seen so far in this game. This game really been back and forth so far. It's going to be hard to tell who wins it, and right now it looks like this game could go to 5 sets.
Yeah, definitely back and forth. Not surprising with the kind of stats that Eastern Michigan has on paper and with how Ohio has been playing in games of late. Their hitting percentage on the season, just 16.5%. But those last 2 games against Miami, that first game, they were at about 34, and the last game they were at about 27, really stepping it up in MAC play.
Yeah, and Ohio's really shored that up. They kind of switched things around towards the end of towards this part of the season to a 5-1 scheme, and it's really helped them get that hit percentage up. As for Eastern Michigan, their hit percentage not that impressive either. They're 8th in the MAC. But what both these teams do have are very agile players and 2 teams that are going to get a lot of digs, and we saw some longer plays so far. 2 teams that are able to keep it up for a while.
Eastern Michigan's going to win that one, though. So that is a big swing there. Went from a 1-point gap to a 3. Eastern Michigan is very close to knocking on that 25-point door.
Eastern Michigan will try to get to that 20-point mark right now. Grassin will serve it. Serve going to be popped up. White sets it up for Waddell. Belcher sets it up there for Mahler, and she puts it down. Eastern Michigan will be the first to reach 20 here in this set, and now they're up by 4.
Yeah, just not a point you can give up there. Eastern Michigan completely out of system there. Able to make things work, though, and that's just kind of a testament as to how good they are.
And as we get a timeout from Ohio, we'll talk about our players to watch in this game. For Ohio, who is it, Tyler, that we got to watch out for?
We mentioned her already earlier in this game, but Gentry Brown, definitely the player to watch for Ohio, especially on attack here. It's easy to say other players like Kendall White, but Gentry Brown, when she's heating up, the team's heating up. So far, she's been doing pretty good this game. 4 kills out of the 13 total attacks, hitting pretty solid at about 30%, but as I mentioned earlier, last 5 games, averaging just over 12 kills. Very impressive. We saw her take over in that second game against Miami, and that's what's going to lead to team success here today, is feeding Gentry Brown and getting her involved in the attack.
Yeah, and then for Eastern Michigan, we talked about her a little bit before, but Ashlyn Belcher, former MAC setter of the week, the player to watch for Eastern Michigan.
Yeah, most definitely. She's already at 646 assists on the season, averaging about 8.6 per set. She's a transfer from Old Dominion, new to the team this year, but she's clearly already a big piece of their attack based off the numbers and the fact that she's a captain for this team already. To go along with 12 aces, she's serviceable on all parts of the floor. She's going to be the key piece of the Eastern Michigan attack here, distributing that ball. We've already seen it go very well, obviously, for their attack. And for her personally, she's already a 10 assist on this set.
Yeah, she's the only player in the nation with 645 aces, 645 assists, 12 aces, and 3 or fewer service errors. As Eastern Michigan will come out of the timeout with the serve. Getting it up and over. Ohio will try to come up with something here as Long will try to spike that one down. Sierra Navasa able to dig it up. And that one going to ricochet off of Hickey and out. The point going to Mahler.
Yeah, would have been a solid try there from Hickey if Gentry Brown had not also dove for that ball. Kind of just left that zone 1 area unprotected.
White setting it up there, trying to spike it down. Another good dig by Srinivasan. Mahler trying to get it down. Ohio trying to set something up. Hickey trying to get it to go for Waddell, and it's too far away from her. And now Eastern Michigan up to 22 on the set. They're looking to run away with this one.
Yeah, Eastern Michigan really been pressing down on the throttle. That's why they're up 6 right now. That one just unfortunate there from Ohio. They could not set up well enough to try and get back in this one.
Serves up and over. White trying to set it up for Kildoe. And what a dig by Srinivasan to keep it alive. And it will end up giving them the point. I don't think Ohio was expecting that one to stay up.
Yeah, no, like you said, just a great save there. Great dig. Pancaked that one, and they're going to be forced to take another timeout here. Eastern Michigan going on quite the run these last few points to sit in control.
Yeah, and really Eastern Michigan, after what was a back and forth first set, is now looking to run away with this one. In a game that is set to be this close, every set is so incredibly important, and you want to keep them as close as possible. This is not a pretty one for Ohio to start it off.
Yeah, most definitely not. Their numbers, not terrible on paper. They've got 11 kills, only 5 errors, but that hitting percentage of just about 12.5, that's brutal for them so far. You'd like to see maybe Kendall White get a little more involved in this attack, setting her attackers up. But Eastern Michigan, like I said, they're doing a good job attacking her on that first shot. She's got to take the reception instead of giving up that set to her attackers, and that's really what's going to take her out of this game. You've seen it kind of throw Ohio out of whack. They're not exactly sure how to respond when Hickey's the one setting them up rather than White. Eastern Michigan, like I said, now very much in control of this game. Only 2 points to go till they win. Ohio still needs 9.
Yeah, it just seems like Ohio's attack has also been less organized than Eastern Michigan's. Like you mentioned, trying to get Kendall White more involved. It seems like a lot of her sets are to unconventional players for Ohio, like Waddell and Blair trying to get it down, but they're going to try to fix that up here as Eastern Michigan only needs 2 more to win the set here. They'll get us started with the serve coming out of the timeout. Hit up there. White will try to set it up for Blair, and it's going to hit the ground. They'll give that one to Ohio. Finally, Ohio able to get a point.
Yeah, that's the break they needed. Gonna need a little bit more of a break to keep this one going, but definitely encouraging to start it.
Serve is up here. Belcher will try to set it up, and getting it down there is Mahler. Eastern Michigan right back to business after the mistake, and they need 1 more to win the first set.
Yeah, Hickey just could not pull her hand away in time. I think that one would have flown out if it hadn't hit her still, and it's just unfortunate.
Srinivasan with the serve here. Set point for Eastern Michigan. Srinivasan will try to set it up on the outside, and a little too much on it. Sifke couldn't get underneath it, and Ohio will get the point. A break for the Bobcats.
Yeah, like you said, just could not position themselves well enough to hit that back set. Not always, libero not always accustomed to that one.
Hickey will serve it here for Ohio. Belcher setting it up. Good block. That goes out. And Eastern Michigan will come away with set 1 here in the Convocation Center. The teams will switch sides. We'll step away for just a second. Stick with us for set number 2. Take another Welcome back here. The start of set 2. Eastern Michigan was in control at the end of set 1. And they're up now 1-0 overall in the match.
Yeah, what we saw there was just really back half dominance from the Eagles. Able to hit 293 in that set. Ohio only hitting about 14%. And a lot of that came in the back half from Eastern Michigan. Like I said, they were not doing so great in about the first 15 points, back and forth between them and Ohio. Ohio's going to have to try and claw back here.
Serve from Ohio to start things off. Belcher will tip it up. And a good hit there by Evans to get Ohio the first point of this set. And Eastern Michigan just put down their foot on the gas pedal at the end of the last set. That's really how they crawled away. White with the serve. Sirinivasan will dig it. And Mahler, good hit there. Too powerful for Brown to handle. And they'll answer back with a point of their own.
Yeah, tried to break that one up. Just split her hands on that one. Flew off to the right.
Sirinivasan will get the serve here. Up and over. White sets it up there, and what a block by Sifke to give Eastern Michigan their second point of the set.
Yeah, it is no surprise. We talked about it before, averaging over 2 blocks per set. Got 2 so far in this entire match. They're going to be tough to beat.
Sirinivasan to serve. White will try to set it up for Maddie Long, and that one, service error too far outside. Eastern Michigan up by 2 now.
Just could not get the great timing on that one. Had to jump a little bit too early. Could not line that one up. Tried to go for that line shot there.
I think
challenging to see if, yeah, hand went off that one or not. I don't think on my end that there was any touch on that one. See what the refs have to say, though. Obviously, we don't have the best view up here.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I didn't see it from up here, but like you said, we're pretty far up here in the Convocation Center. Something Ohio's going to want to improve is that hit percentage. It's not been great after they improved on it the last few games. It's not been great in this one. It's another part of the reason why Eastern Michigan's been able to keep the lead.
Yeah, they are kind of back to their old ways in that sense, at least, considering the fact that, as I mentioned, they were hitting 14% in that first set. Haven't hit that bad in a few games. Their wins, they're usually hitting just over 20%, over 200 or so. Definitely not the case so far, but they've got plenty of time to fix it. And depending on how this challenge goes, they're set up in a prime opportunity tied 2-2.
Yeah, this will be a big outcome for the Bobcats. Unfortunately, though, not sure if it's going to go their way. And this is a game, like we've talked about before, that both teams really need to win. A series to play each other tomorrow night as well, and they're going to want both of the wins. They don't want to split this series. It'll make it just harder on both teams to make it to that MAC tournament.
Yeah, if the series is split, though, you know, not the worst scenario for both these teams. And that one, yeah, the call's going to stand just as we expected. Don't think there was any contact on that one. 3-1 here still.
Will go down as a service error for Maddie Long, and Sirinivasan will serve it to get things underway again for Eastern Michigan. Up and over. Kendall White sets it up there, and the block is going to go out that time. Good idea by Eastern Michigan, but not enough control, and Ohio will get the point.
That is really where Ohio's going to have to step up, getting those tools off the block. Eastern Michigan's always going to have hands up. You just got to take advantage of the angle.
Maddie Long gets it up and over.
That's 4 hits there, yeah, pretty clearly.
Time Anna Guard Hatteras Welker just trying to get it up and over a little bit, and it came back to her. So now we're all tied up here in set 2. Ohio the first chance to take the lead since set 1. Sirinivasan will dig it up, and Mahler going to try to get it down. Sifke will get it down and get the point for Eastern Michigan.
Yeah, no one really in that back 3 zones there. I think he tried her best to stick an arm out for that one, just was never going to get it.
With the serve from Eastern Michigan. Belcher will get it up over the net. Trying to get it down there is Blair. Belcher will set it. And a good dig there by Kendall Hickey to keep it alive. Here's Gentry Brown, and it's a good hit. The point coming for Ohio, and we're all tied up here in set 2.
That's the kind of sequences Ohio needs to keep this one going. Everything looked great there. The dig, the set, the hit especially. What you need if you want to win this.
Tipped over there. White digs it back up. Hit. Gonna be in there.
Yeah, that one. Good call, I think, to make that one definitely off some hands there.
And Ohio got their first lead since about midway through set 1. Hit up and over. Sirnivasan can't get under it. And Ohio will take another point there. Karan in there now at libero for Ohio. She'll get ready to serve it here. Ohio the chance to go up by 3. Sirnivasan will hit it up. Set from Belcher. Knocked down. Not going to go for Eastern Michigan. Tipped up and a little bit of a miscommunication there for Ohio. Eastern Michigan will come away with the point.
Yeah, not a great hit there from Ohio. Kind of just left that one hanging midair.
Here's the serve from Eastern Michigan. White will try to set it up for Waddell, who's going to get it down. Good hit by Waddell. 7 points now for Ohio.
Yeah, Waddell kind of left with that clear shot there because of that almost joust between White and the Eastern Michigan players. No blockers really jumping up to take control of that one.
Maddie Long will serve. Sirnivasan will hit it. Here's Guard will try to get it over. White will set it. Waddell, and it's off of Eastern Michigan again. 3-point lead for Ohio now, the biggest they've had in a while.
Ohio always going to have a good opportunity there. Just that roll shot from Eastern Michigan. Never going to be enough power behind that one to really do any damage.
And too much on that one. Service error going to give Eastern Michigan the point and the serve.
That is the other edge of that double-edged sword between the service errors and aces. It's really been holding Ohio back from sometimes drawing a larger lead in matches.
Trying to hit it up. Not a good dig there from Maddie Long. And the lead back down to 1.
And a good ace there, though, from Eastern Michigan. Definitely knowing who to target on this one.
Try to target her again. Ohio hitting it up. Gentry Brown trying to get it back over. Guard will just tip it over. Waddell set it up for White, who sets it up for Waddell, and that one is going to be off of the hand of the Eastern Michigan defender, and it's 9-7.
Pretty good give and go there between Waddell and White. Solid communication on the court. I knew it was just going to be a light back and forth.
Gentry Brown will get the serve here. Hit up Belcher to Guard. It's blocked. Again, blocked by the Ohio front line, and that one. Too much power on it from Belcher. And Gentry Brown couldn't corral it.
Yeah, it was unfortunate to see that play out that way if you're a Bobcat because you had such good dominance up front to start that one out, but targeting Gentry Brown back there has been a strategy for quite a few teams.
Good set by White, hit by Kildo.
That is just unfortunate.
Off the Jumbotron there, it'll bounce back into Eastern Michigan's side. Nothing they could really do against that one. And the point for Ohio. Unlucky break for the Eagles. Waddell serve. Up, set up for Tockets, and she'll get it to go down. Back down to 1. This set back and forth again like we saw at the beginning of the last set. One of these teams got to try to run away with it here as we enter the second half here. Here's the serve from the Eagles. Thought that one would go too far, but it didn't. And a service ace for Eastern Michigan to tie it up.
Yeah, that one's just rough communication there. Everyone set out on that Ohio side. We're kind of seeing Eastern Michigan take a hold of this with a few aces so far.
Hit over there. White will try to set it up for Kildoe. Good dig there. Belcher. Over, and a good block by Ohio. We'll give them the point. And on a team that has struggled with blocks all season, they've been pretty good at it tonight.
Yeah, definitely something they've been stepping up at the last few games. They've had a lot more opportunities so far. Something they're going to need to keep up here.
Hit over. Here is Belcher trying to set it up for Mahler. Sirnavasan will set it. Good block again by Ohio. Sirnavasan up to the other side now. And it's off the Ohio Bobcat player there for the Eastern Michigan point, and it's all tied up again.
Yeah, right now this is the ideal back row situation, mostly if you're an Eastern Michigan fan, because you've got some people back there that you would not like to see back there if you're Ohio.
Sirnavasan with the serve. White will set it up. Trying to get it down. And Bailey Blair will get the point there for Ohio. Maddie Long to serve here. Drives it to Grasson, and it's off of Hickey for the Eastern Michigan point.
A lot of power behind all these Eagle hits. Seen him break a lot of digs from all kinds of players on the Ohio side.
They'll get the serve here. A lot of agility and power on the Eastern Michigan side in this one. Hit up there by Kendall White. She tries to set it, but it's too far gone, and Eastern Michigan will get the point.
Yeah, we mentioned it a few times, but the total attacking errors of these teams are both high. And you're kind of seeing it here in this game so far. 9 errors already from the Bobcats in this entire match, 4 in this set. It's not a great look for the team.
Hickey will hit it up. Kendall White will try to set it. And Bailey Blair will get it to bounce off the Eastern Michigan player, and she'll get the point.
That's her 7th kill of the game. She's hitting pretty solidly so far, just over 23%. She's a player you kind of need to turn to so far this game.
Set from Belcher, knocked down. Good dig by Maddie Long. Gentry Brown will try to get it down, and they'll give it to Ohio. And they'll end up giving it back to Eastern Michigan there. 14-13 the score now. A little bit too much on it from Gentry Brown. That one was close. The serve up and over. White fakes the set, just puts it over there for the Ohio point.
Yeah, she had waited a little bit since her first time doing that. That one wide open, finds that donut hole there. Just puts it right down.
Good play there by Kendall White. And Ohio will get the serve here, all knotted up at 14 in set 2. Belcher will set it. And Ohio trying to keep this one alive. White will just set it back over. Belcher sets it up for Guard, who tips it up and over. And another hit off the ricochet there by Welker will give Eastern Michigan the point.
Just a purely chaotic rally there. No one really wanted to win that one, but Eastern Michigan did.
And as Eastern Michigan gets to 15 points, we'll step away for just a second. Stick with us for the rest of set 2. welcome you back here to set 2. Eastern Michigan up by 1. And they will serve it here. They ran away with set 1. Set 2 looking to be a little bit closer. And it's really either team's set right now.
Yeah, like you said, either team's set right now, but this is really where we saw the lead grow for Eastern Michigan last time around, and they're obviously trying to repeat that here. Having a pretty good set again, hitting about 25%, 7 kills. Ohio not so much, hitting about, well, actually they're hitting pretty good, 32%, but definitely not stepping up as much as they should be here.
Guards gonna be blocked twice there, and Ohio will get the point. Ohio's really stepped up in the block game in this game, and it's come to their advantage here in set 2.
Yeah, most certainly, you know, almost every time an attack comes over from Eastern Michigan, Ohio has a hand on it. Sometimes they'll send it back. It's just, you know, Eastern Michigan is so good at getting that rebound and putting it right back over that's where the trouble lies for Ohio.
Eastern Michigan second in the MAC in digs. They're a very agile team at keeping that ball up, keeping the rally alive. Siren of Austin will set it up here for guard, and Hickey's there to deal with it. Here's Kildo, and a net violation there. And Eastern Michigan will get the point.
Yeah, unfortunate there for Ohio. Looking pretty solid before that fact.
Eastern Michigan with the serve here. They'll get it over, and they're really attacking Maddie Long right now. Kildo trying to get it over. Siren of Austin's there to deal with it. Here's Tuckets. And it's going to fall on Eastern Michigan's side. We're all tied up again at 16.
Yeah, not even sure if Ohio got a hand on that one. I think that one was just right into the middle of the net there. Still going pretty back and forth between these two teams.
The serve dealt with by Siren of Austin. The set to guard. And the Eastern Michigan point coming. Guard will sub off after an eventful play there. And Grasson will get the serve for Eastern Michigan. They'll try to go up by more than 1. Been back and forth here in set 2. White sets it up for Kildo. And Eastern Michigan just lost control of it there. And it's all tied up again.
Yeah, just could not keep that one totally under control. Able to keep it up for 2 hits, but that second one just flew above there. No chance of anyone touching that.
Here's the serve from White. The set from Belcher. Over. Not going to go for Eastern Michigan. Good block there. Ohio trying to keep it alive. Eastern Michigan probably should have just let that one go. And it goes down for the Eastern Michigan point, ricocheting off the Ohio player.
Yeah, very, very lucky for them that that one wound up going the Eagles' way anyways. You let that one fly out. That one ends a little bit earlier, but in the end, it doesn't matter when you're still up.
Siren of Austin will serve here. She gets it over. Brown deals with it. Here's White with the set to Kildo. Eagles there to deal with it. And Mahler, good dig there by Hickey to keep it alive. Rally plays on. Mahler gets it up and over. White tries to set up for Kildo again. Siren of Austin there to deal with it. That time on the other side, there's Sifke. Just kind of setting it over. Good dig by Siren of Austin. And it's going to be in. Or it's going to be out, sorry, for Ohio. And Ohio will get the point.
Very, very good rally there between the both of them. Spearheaded by both liberos. We saw some incredible digs from both sides. Starting out with that pancake block by Hickey, but then the rest of the digs that they made from both sides, not easy.
After the eventful rally, Ohio will get the serve. Siren of Austin will get the dig there. Set up there to Mahler. Here's Hickey trying to set it up to the opposite hitter there. Blair can't get her spike to go. She'll try again. Eastern Michigan trying to keep it alive. Ohio somehow keeps that one going. They get it back up and over. Belcher sets it up there, and Mahler will get the points. Eastern Michigan up to 20 here in set 2.
Yeah, that one pretty solid back and forth to start it out, but Sierra Evans late to that block rotation there. Saw her trying to move right, just could not get there fast enough. Gave Eastern Michigan a pretty easy shot there. They took advantage of it.
Michigan will deal with it here. Kendall White will get it over to Gentry Brown, and she just tips it up and over. Tie game again. Knotted up at 19. We get closer and closer to that 25-point mark. Looks like it might go past that. Hickey with the serve. Sierra-Navasan with the dig. The set by Belcher, and it's blocked by Ohio. And it stays inside. They'll get the point there. Good block by Bailey Blair.
Yeah, just a very, very close call on that line there. But luckily for the Bobcats, it falls right down on it. Eastern Michigan still not out of this, though.
Curran with the serve. Belcher takes a page out of Kendall White's book. Just sets it up and over. Sierra-Navasan keeps it alive. And the dig there, not going to be able to save it. And we're tied up at 20 here in set 2. We've seen some incredible digs here from both sides throughout this set.
Yeah, definitely a very libero-focused set so far, and it makes sense with how talented they both are.
Waddell trying to get it down, and she does. Good hit by Waddell coming from across the court.
Yeah, that slide just kind of went off the hands and then went off quite a few Eastern Michigan players. Can't really name them all.
So following that, the serve will come from Ohio. Maddie Long will get it up and over the net. Belcher trying to set it up there for Welker. White sets it up for Brown. Blocked there at the net. And trying to get it over is guard. Hickey gets it up. And Kendall White, way too much on that. And we're tied up again. Eastern Michigan will get the serve.
Yeah, libero to setters, normally a good connection, just not when it's going to be the one taking that hit there. No surprise that one was just skied out of bounds.
Hickey gets it up to White. White sets it up for Gentry Brown, and a good, strong hit from Gentry Brown gets her the kill.
Gentry Brown has really been keeping the Bobcats afloat here with her power behind her swings. Keeping them alive in this one. But now she's in the back row, and that's a whole different task.
Gets over the net there. Belcher tries to set it up to the outside. Sifke's hit dealt with by Gentry Brown in the back row. Kildo gets it over. Belcher sets it up. Tockett's just getting it over there. White again setting it up for Kildo, and that time Sierra-Navasan could get under it.
Just a very powerful hit there on that one. You could see it, though, Eastern Michigan trying to target Gentry Brown in that back row. He's able to get under it, though, but Eastern Michigan's got to take a timeout here, and it's no surprise. Still really could go either way, though. We've seen Eastern Michigan's stats kind of falter from that first set. Ohio most certainly stepping it up, but this one's still very close.
Yeah, we're seeing a little bit more consistency from Ohio, but overall, neither team looks in control. Just some longer rallies in this set overall, a lot of digs, and like you mentioned, a very libero-focused set.
Yeah, most definitely. We're already seen 19 digs in this set from Ohio, 11 from Eastern Michigan, but those 11 from Eastern Michigan have definitely come at important times. It's kind of hard to predict, you know, who's going to come away with this set. Still only a 4-point difference from that winning 25 for Eastern Michigan. 2 points separating Eastern Michigan from Ohio, and then Ohio from that 25. Would be surprised if this one honestly didn't go to extra points here.
Yeah, this seems very close. You got to think it's going to come down to that hitting percentage and those attack errors. Got to avoid dumb mistakes from both sides. And ultimately, whoever's more consistent should win this set as we come back out from the timeout. Gentry Brown will get the serve for Ohio to start it out. Eastern Michigan trying to draw the lead back down, keep it within 2, and force those extra points. Here comes the serve from Brown. Hit up. The set from Belcher to Guard, and Guard deals with it well. We're back down to a 1-point lead.
Yeah, just an unfortunate ricochet there off of Emily Waddell. I think that came off the inside of her left arm. Kind of just dropped down to her right. No one really there at the time for Ohio. Couldn't get to it fast enough.
Belcher with the serve. And the service ace there as Ohio couldn't gain control.
That is just unfortunate there for Ohio. Wasn't really too much behind that serve either. They're going to take their own timeout here. This one's all tied up at 23 like we were just saying. It's a back and forth game. No one's out of it yet. It's going to take 2 straight points if either team wants to win this one straight up, no extra points. And that's honestly a little tough with how back and forth this one has been going.
Yeah, and I feel like momentum's playing a lot of a role in this game as well with how close it's been. It's been those little errors that either side have made that have really opened up the opportunity for the other side to really make a run, and Ohio trying to avoid that now with a timeout of their own. Eastern Michigan was trying to avoid that with the timeout just a second ago. But attack errors have plagued both sides all season. It's interesting to see, though, Eastern Michigan on paper. You mentioned it before. They look like they should be a lot higher in the MAC than they are.
Yeah, and I think that consistency, at least statistic-wise, is probably going to aid them in a close set like this one. They are fundamentally sound. It's just been smaller things that have, been making them lose games, their errors and such. But when they're faced with a team that, is also full of attack errors, they're definitely floating well here. They're really thriving against them, honestly. They've got the ball here. This is really in their control if they want to close this one out.
Always fun to watch. 2 teams trying to make it back into the playoff run, and both teams on winning streaks. So a lot of motivation behind both sides as clock ticks down below. 10 seconds left in the timeout, and we'll get the serve from Eastern Michigan. Belcher will get it up over the net. And White will set it up for Waddell. Her hit dealt with Guard, and it's blocked at the net. Good stop by Ohio, and they're up by 1 now. If they can get this point, they can win the set.
Yeah, very good recovery there. That first pass, far, far past that antenna. Almost at that table down there. Kenna White able to come back and make a difference on the block, too, and Ohio's going to win the set.
Waddell going to get the service ace, and that will end set 2. All knotted up at 1-2-1 here. They'll switch sides. We'll step away. Stick with us for what is shaping up to be an exciting final few sets. Take another look at that winning play. We welcome you back to the Convocation Center here on a Thursday night Maction volleyball matchup. It's set 3, all knotted up at 1-1 overall, and Eastern Michigan was in control of set 1. Set 2 was way more back and forth, and Ohio ended it with a dominating final 2 points.
Yeah, but Eastern Michigan definitely not playing as good as they did that first set, hitting about 136. And that second set, 6 errors to go along with it. Getting much, much better in that first set, along with only 2 errors in it. Ohio definitely stepped up. They're hitting in that second set, hitting about 231. Step up from their 140 in the first set. More errors still, but the fact that Eastern Michigan also had more errors definitely aided them there. Let's see if Ohio can keep it up and if Eastern Michigan can return back to that first set form.
You almost wonder if it would be easier for Eastern Michigan to play more conservative and let Ohio kind of shoot themselves in the foot. As Sirnivasan gets it over there to Mahler. Kendall Hickey keeps it alive, trying to set it up for Kendall White. Good stop there by Belcher. Hit up and over there. Set up there for Evans. And the dig can't get there. Evans will get the kill, and 1-0 will start set 3 for us here in the Convo. Saw a lot of good digs in that last set. That time she couldn't get underneath it. Eastern Michigan there, can't get it, and the service ace coming for Maddie Long.
That's a pretty good start for Ohio. Definitely one you'd like to be in control of here. See how long it can last.
Maddie Long, a good server for Ohio. She's 3rd in the MAC in service aces. Showing why right there. Tockets trying to get it over. Good dig by Ohio. Belcher setting it up for guard, but
yeah, definitely
violation call.
Good call on that double hit there. Ball had a lot of spin behind that one. Unfortunate for the Bobcats, but Eastern Michigan put some points on the board.
Eastern Michigan will get their first point of set 3 and their first serve of set 3. Here it comes. Grasson gets it up and over. White hits it up, and Gentry Brown's hit is rejected at the net.
Just what we'd expect from an Eastern Michigan team that coming into this game was supposed to be a lot more dominant in terms of blocks than they are right now. Not sitting at too many in the entire match. They're honestly getting outclassed by Ohio in terms of blocks.
Ohio's got 2 players with more than 4 blocks, and that time, too much on it. Eastern Michigan will get the point. 3-2, they'll take their first lead of set 3. Right now, looks like this game could go 2-5 sets. Both teams on win streaks trying to keep that alive. Belcher gets it up to the outside, and Sifke just kind of tips it over, and Ohio couldn't control it. They're up by 2 now.
Yeah, kind of what you saw there. Bailey Blair was able to get a hand under that ball, tried to push it back to her teammate. She thought someone would be waiting in the wings of zone 5 to recover that one, but nobody was. That's an unfortunate mistake that results in the Eastern Michigan point. That one's another unfortunate mistake.
Ohio thought they could step away, get the service error, but it stays inside, and the service ace coming for Grasson and the Eagles. 5-2 now, the score. Eastern Michigan on a bit of a run. Here comes the serve from Grasson. Hickey digs it back up. Popped up and over. Good dig from Sirnivasan, but the Eagles couldn't jump under it, and Ohio will get the point.
Yeah, big time miscommunication there between Belcher and Sifke. Both of them kind of just watched that ball drop. No one could really decide who wanted to pop that one back up.
Here is Curran with the serve. She comes in at libero, and too much on it from Eastern Michigan. The point. They're saying that one's going to ricochet off of an Ohio player, and they'll give the point to Eastern Michigan. And the RDC head coach Kenzie Brinkman's got that challenge card out and ready. Looks like we're going to get another look at this one. She discusses with the official down there. We've seen a couple challenges already in this game. And they will take another look at it to see if it did come off of the hands of an Ohio Bobcat.
Yeah, that one very close to call there. Honestly, I'm not sure one way or another.
Fast play, hard to keep up with where that ball went.
See if there's even enough really to overturn it. That's really what it comes down to a lot of the time on the replays is you got to be able to overturn it without a shadow of a doubt. It's hard to get sometimes, especially into that slow-mo replay.
And Ohio's first challenge, I believe, also not enough to back them up, and it was not overturned. Every point important in a close game like this, so I like the challenge from Kenzie Brinkman. First-year head coach, took over after being an assistant for 2 years. She's really stepped into her own here as we really get into MAC play, winning 3 in a row after losing 11 straight. This Bobcats team is really, it's 2 stories to the season. First half where they really looked like they couldn't do anything, and then these last few games they've really stepped it up.
Yeah, most certainly, and like we've mentioned quite a few times, this is a must-win if they'd like to keep this one alive. You know, the overall record of both these teams, very different. Eastern Michigan came into MAC play with a nice little record of 8-5. Definitely looked like they would be setting themselves up for success in the MAC. Did not transfer that way. Ohio, exact opposite end, came into the MAC play with only 2 wins. Since then, they've gotten 3, and they win that challenge too, it looks like.
A little bit of confusion there. Eastern Michigan celebrated, thought they won it, but they got that point taken away. And it's a 1-point lead for Eastern Michigan here in set 3. Karan gets ready to serve it. Lucky break there. Kevin Foman not happy with the end of the call. He's still talking to the official over there. We're still waiting to get back underway.
These long replays really kill momentum on both sides.
And we are ready to resume play here. Ohio, after winning the challenge, they'll get the serve. Karan serves it. Belcher sets it up. Sifke tried to knock that one down. Ohio dealt with it well. White spikes it down and gets the point for Ohio. And we're all knotted up at 5.
Yeah, yet another back and forth set between these teams. It's what we come to expect, especially at the start of this here. See if they can hold it up the entire time or if this one is going to really get out of hand quickly.
Hit up there. Belcher will try to set it up for Sifke, and Sifke must get a little disoriented there, just knocks it out of bounds.
Yeah, definitely not the best set ever to her. Trying to work with what she had. That's about as good as you can do.
Karan will serve again. Ohio on a 2-point run now. And Tockett, good hit, good dig though on the back line. Gentry Brown tried to jump up and get it over, but not enough height on it. And Eastern Michigan, I believe, is going to get the point.
Yeah, I think that one dropped right on the line there. While Ohio was busy celebrating, it dropped right down, but all the officials meeting up.
Again, like you mentioned, Tyler, these stoppages really kill momentum for both sides. We've seen 2 of them now already in this 3rd set.
Yeah, this is really going to be unfortunate for Ohio mostly, considering they were on a 4-0 run before that. But yeah, Eastern Michigan awarded the point as I feel they should be there. That one dropped right on the line. Still tie here.
So we're back to being tied up here in set 3. Sira Nivasan, the only libero out there for Eastern Michigan, will get us going again. First serve going to be dealt with by Maddie Long. Kendall White sets it up there to the outside, and Gentry Brown's rejected at the net. Eastern Michigan's done that a couple times already tonight, and they get the point.
Yeah, quickly, they're back into that high block, mode that we've expected from them so far here. It's the 4th for them this match.
Boston will serve again. Hits it up. Maddie Long hits it up somehow. Karan was able to keep that one alive. Belcher gets it outside. Good setup. Good stop there by Hickey. And it falls inside there. They'll give Kendall White the point, and Ohio ties it back up.
Yeah, a nice play there. It's a good drop on it, but no one was even going to be able to reach that one. No surprise that Ohio gets that point.
Here the serve. Belcher sets it up for Mahler. Good dig by Ohio to keep it alive. Gentry Brown gets it up over the net. Belcher sets it up again. Good block there. Guard is trying to get it over. Rally still continuing here. Hit up and over. Sirinivasan's trying to slow it down. Sifke trying to get it up and over. Here's Brown. Her attempt deflected there at the net. Mahler will try to get it down. Good dig there. Hickey sets it up for Gentry Brown. Gentry Brown, good dig from Sirinivasan to keep it alive. From the outside there, White just kind of tips it over. Sirinivasan sets it up. Belcher trying to get it up. Another good dig from Hickey. And Gentry Brown, good dig there by Eastern Michigan. The rally continues. Kendall White sets it up for Brown. And that time, we're going to get a net violation. And I believe the point will go to Ohio.
Yeah, that one very good back and forth between both teams. Definitely the longest rally we've seen in this match today. What was impressive is the amount of times that they were able to get that ball over despite being out of system almost constantly. When they weren't out of system, good blocking from both teams, able to get a hand on the ball usually. Resulted good back and forth. Unfortunate to see it end that way for Eastern Michigan. Cut short by that net violation. Could have kept going on for a little bit longer.
It seemed like every time we thought that rally was going to end, someone somehow barely kept it up. It was finally ended by that net violation. Ohio comes away with the point after the longest rally of the night, and they'll serve it here. Dig there. Belcher sets it up. And it's too much on it there from Mahler. Ohio will get the point. They're up by 2 now in set 3.
There's a moment where Ohio has to have one of their better serves come off.
Maddie Long to serve it. Belcher will set it up. Good dig there by Maddie Long. Gentry Brown is blocked at the net. Good hit by Kendall White. Ricochets off of Grasson. And Ohio up by 3 now. Eastern Michigan done a good job of shutting down Gentry Brown at the net, but Ohio's been doing a good job of playing off the deflections.
Yeah, and unfortunately there on that one, Grasson, a tough decision to make, really. I think that one could have flown out of bounds, but it's not one you want to risk, and that ultimately breaks her block there.
Good block by Ohio. Sirinivasan sets it up there again for Sifke, who puts too much on it. And Ohio does not get the point there. It's going to ricochet off an Ohio player. So the lead now down to 2, and Eastern Michigan finally will get a chance to serve. Serve coming from Voorhees. Hickey sets it to White, who sets it up for Kildo. Eastern Michigan trying to keep it alive, and they do. White will set it for Kildo again. Sorry, Waddell gets that one over, and the point for Ohio.
Yeah, that one, a good second attempt there from Ohio. Had plenty of control on that ball after Eastern Michigan was just barely able to get that one over. Try what worked last time, and players get their hands on it, but it's right at the net. So there's not really a chance they were going to get that one back to anyone important there on that team.
Gentry Brown will serve here. She'll serve that one over. Sirinivasan try to get it across the court, and a good hit there by Sifke. It stays in, and it gives Eastern Michigan the point. (11-9) now the score here in set 3. Serve coming. Maddie Long gets it up. Kildo tries to get it down. Good dig. Eastern Michigan keeps that one alive. And a good hit there from Welker. Ricochets off the Ohio Bobcat there. I believe that was Kendall White. They get the point.
Yeah, Ohio had the perfect opportunity there because Eastern Michigan was just able to sneak that one over, but they overpass on that one, and it's an easy kill for any volleyball player on that overpass.
Sierra Nevada trying to keep it alive. Eastern Michigan gets it back over the net. Good block there at the net, but it doesn't go back over, and Waddell get another kill.
Targeting that left side block has been pretty successful for Ohio, specifically this set. We've seen them go back to it a few times. That slide is really brutal for that left side blocker for Eastern Michigan.
Sierra Nevada gets it up to Belcher, who tried to get it over, and a great block there by Sierra Evans. Ohio up by 3 now in the set.
Yeah, we've seen Ohio up like this before, but will they be able to hold on to it is the question.
Ohio not done a great job of building leads this season. But that time, they'll extend it to 4. Kildow just kind of gets up there and smacks it down to where no Eastern Michigan player was. It's a good job finding a hole there in the Eastern Michigan zone, and they'll serve again. Outside trying to keep it alive, not going to be able to, and Ohio up to 5 now. They're on the run.
Yeah, this is 4 in a row for them, and no surprise, they have to take a timeout there.
So with that, we get 15 points and a timeout. We'll step away. Stick with us for the rest of set 3. Welcome back to set 3 here in Athens. 15-10 the score. Ohio on a bit of a run here, and they'll serve it after the Eastern Michigan timeout. Eastern Michigan took their time coming out of the break. Here is the serve. Sierra-Nevasan to Belcher, trying to hit it over, and it's deflected. Ohio up by 6 now.
Definitely the best position that Ohio has been in this entire match. Got to hold on to it, though. Saw them up a little bit in that first set before Eastern Michigan turned it around.
Hit over. Kendall White sets it up. Here's Kildow. And it's down again for Ohio's 7th point here to the lead. And Ohio, something they've struggled with this season is building leads. But right now they're doing a great job, as now we are going to get an Eastern Michigan timeout, and they'll talk it over again. Whatever was working for them in that first set has kind of turned around, and it's no longer working for them now.
Yeah, most certainly in this current set, they're hitting a nice 0 so far with only 4 kills as opposed to Ohio's 10 kills so far this set. Go along with a nice 2-3-1 hitting percentage. The errors have also been toned down for Ohio, only 4 so far. Now their total 16. It's definitely a solid look for them so far this set. Eastern Michigan still sitting at 4 themselves. Not going Eastern Michigan's way at all, at least stats-wise. But Ohio still has to hold on here. Got 8 to go until that 25 mark. Still only 7 ahead of Eastern Michigan, and volleyball is most certainly a game of runs. Whoever has that momentum is going to keep it for at least a little usually. So Ohio has been doing a great job at holding on to it so far.
And it seemed like something that was really working for both sides in set 2 were those digs, and Eastern Michigan been doing not as good of a job in this set of getting those stronger hits under control and diving for that ball. A lot of those are going way out of play, things that they can't handle, and it's part of the reason why they're down by 7 here. I believe this is the biggest lead we've seen from either team in this match. Certainly the biggest for Ohio, and they'll try to extend it here with the serve coming from Emily Waddell. She hits it over, and again, Eastern Michigan losing control of it there after they did such a good job earlier on in this game of making those saves. Right now, the service ace goes to Waddell, and they're not able to get underneath it.
Yeah, now 8 points. This is the biggest lead since that first set ended, where the Eastern Michigan had won by 7. Finally give themselves a break.
Eastern Michigan will get the point there. Waddell not able to get underneath that one, and Hickey will sub back in. Srinivasan will sub out for the first time in what seems like forever for Eastern Michigan.
I assume it won't be for long.
Libero for Eastern Michigan has been all over the court tonight. She's the team leader in digs, and she does a great job of keeping that ball up. Here comes the serve from the Eagles. Dealt with there. Kendall White will try to set it up there, and Kildo just kind of tips it over. Kept alive. Karan over to Evans, and Evans gets it down. And the point will go to Ohio.
Yeah, both teams for a second hesitated. Eastern Michigan thought play had continued. Ohio circled up to start celebrating and then got right back into it, but refs blow that one dead. Ohio is holding strong with their lead here, almost at that 20-point mark. Good dominant.
Here's the serve from White. Guard will try to get it down.
It's antenna. Yep.
Hits the antenna. Ohio point coming there. And a 9-point lead now for the Bobcats. Biggest lead of the match. They look in control of set 3. Hit up there. Trying to get it down. That one. Just a little mishit there from Kendall White. Rare mistake there from the setter of the week in the MAC. And Eastern Michigan will finally get a chance to serve again.
Yeah, that one honestly not really on her. Bailey Blair kind of hit that one up. Kind of was right in front of White there. Could not get to it in time.
Hickey hits it up. And Blair will try to get it down. Good dig by Srinivasan, who's back in there. Mahler trying to get it down. Takits gets it up. White sets it up for Kildo. Good dig by Srinivasan. Here's Gar trying to get it down, and it goes off of Gentry Brown in the back line. Eastern Michigan will get the point.
Yeah, Eastern Michigan certainly knows who to target back there when Gentry Brown is in that back row. They've been going after her all night long. It's kind of been a 50-50 shot on if she can hold on to that ball or not.
She'll hit it over here. Srinivasan gets it back up to Belcher. Sets it up for Mahler. Good save there by Brown. Here's Blair. Puts way too much on it. And Eastern Michigan's got the lead back down to 6. Seems like a little momentum's back on their side now.
Yeah, kind of that jump roll shot there from Bailey Blair. Coming in from the side, too. Almost the least desirable shot you could take in any situation.
Set from White. And down it goes for Sierra Evans. And the lead back up to 7. Ohio only needs 4 more to win the set. You definitely think they'd like to do it in dominating fashion, carry a lot of momentum over into set 4, and win the game from there. The serve up and over. Belcher sets it up. Tipped up and over. White sets it up there for Brown, who's rejected at the net. And Eastern Michigan will get the point on that one.
Yeah, blocks like that are going to happen. Eastern Michigan very, very talented up front. So that's something you got to take it on the chin and move on. But Eastern Michigan most certainly needed that. Gap to Ohio is only 6 now. Not insurmountable.
Rassin will serve. White will set. And down it goes for Kilto. She'll get the kill. And now Ohio only needs 3 more to win set 3. Good set there by Kendall White. Serve. Srinivasan will deal with it. Belcher sets it up. Mahler tries to get it up and over. Karan does a good job. And it's just barely out. Eastern Michigan will get the point there. This set ending a lot closer than I think either of us thought it would.
Yeah, Eastern Michigan not going away, but it might be a little too late for them.
Srinivasan, the serve. Dealt with, and a good spike there from Bailey Blair. Bailey Blair really having herself a night in this game.
Yeah, that's 12 kills for her now in this game. She's been double digits in the last 3. It's only a freshman. She's someone you got to watch out for every time you play Ohio on the schedule.
Here's the serve. Belcher sets it up for Welker. White will set it up for Brown. It's rejected there at the net. Back to Brown again. And it stays in for the Bobcats. What a hit by Gentry Brown. And now Ohio only needs 1 more to end set 3.
Yeah, Ohio looking very dominant. We have not seen them play like this the entire night, but they're stepping into the moment well.
Here's the serve. Belcher keeps it up. Mahler will get a good dig there by Maddie Long. Gentry Brown just kind of tips it over. Kendall White sets it back to Gentry Brown, and that one had too much on it, and Eastern Michigan stays alive here. They'll get the serve. Trying to go back to what worked on the last rally, but it doesn't work that time.
Yeah, that cross shot, just a little too much on it. Flies right out of bounds, right at about that 10-meter line. Excuse me, that 10-foot line. Eastern Michigan staying alive.
Here's the hit up and over from Voorhees. Spike down, Waddell. She'll end the set for Ohio. They'll come away. They're up 2-1 now overall. We'll switch sides. We'll step away. Stay with us for set 4. welcome you back to the Convocation Center. Start of set 4 here after Eastern Michigan finished set 1 in dominating fashion. Ohio won a close set 2 and then really dominated in that last set. They've really come alive, and they're looking to end this one here with one more set win.
Yeah, the script was completely flipped last set. Ohio played well. They were hitting about 190 on that set, above their match average of 183 after that set, certainly. But Eastern Michigan kind of shot themselves in the foot there. Before that set, they had been hitting pretty solid the entire night, but coming in with an 0.29 hitting percentage on that one leaves a lot to be desired. Along with 5 attacking errors, only 6 kills in that set. Eastern Michigan is not out of this one yet. They just need to reel in the mistakes, but Ohio's certainly sitting in the driver's seat here. They're feeling confident. They're feeling energized. Quite a good set last time around. They're looking to end this one, like you said, in 4 after starting this one down 0-1.
And Eastern Michigan playing a lot of out of position in that last set, and they kind of honed it in a little bit there towards the end, but it was too little too late, and Ohio took set 3. They'll serve here to start set 4. Here's Sifke. Dealt with well by Ohio. Hickey sets it up to the outside, and Bailey Blair is going to run into the net herself.
Bailey Blair has been the best player on the court tonight, at least attacking-wise. Some would argue in general. 13 kills for her.
Serve there from White. Here's Sifke. Dealt with well by Gentry Brown. Kept alive. Hickey gets it over. Belcher sets it up to the outside. Hickey digs it once again. Kendall White gets it back over to Bailey Blair. And a good hit there. Bounces off of Sarah Nivasan. And Ohio starts 2-0 here in set 4.
Yeah, that one just good in general. Able to keep that one alive when it looked a little rough. Bailey Blair just with the roll shot there. A lot of power behind that despite no wind up. 14 kills for her so far.
Here comes a serve from Kendall White. Belcher sets it up to the outside, rejected there at the net. Belcher gets it across the court there to Sifke. Gentry Brown's back there to field that one. And Maddie Long came in flying, trying to get that one over the net, but she couldn't get it up and over. And the first point for Eastern Michigan coming here in set 4.
Yeah, just not timed up well between that and the set. Kind of had to shove that one over, but ends up shoving it right to the net.
Sierra Nivasan with the serve. White with the setup. Sierra Evans just kind of sets it up there. Sierra Nivasan gets it back up and over. Kendall White way up there. Kendall Hickey gets it back up. Playing around with it there at the net, and I think we're going to get a net violation against Ohio, and it's tied up here now at 2.
Yeah, it would have been magical to see Ohio keep that one up because it seemed like there was no chance they would be able to. Definitely in the net on that one.
Sierra Nivasan will serve. And too much on it. Service error for the Eagles.
Yeah, to say that one was a lucky break for Ohio would be quite the understatement. Just barely outside of the lines there. And they had 2 players diving after it, too. Able to split both of them. And yeah, that is, I think, a good review to call there from head coach Kevin Foman. Just seemed like it maybe had dropped in the lines or right on it.
Yeah, we'll get the review here, and we've seen a couple times on those serves, Ohio just completely steps away, and it is inside. And if this one does manage to stay in on the review, that'll be the 3rd time I believe that's happened for the Bobcats today. Some really good serving from especially Sierra Nivasan in this game.
Yeah, we'll see what the down official has to say about this one. It's early in this set, so it doesn't exactly have that big momentum swing that it would later in the match. But at this point, if you're Eastern Michigan, you know, every point matters for the Eagles. They got to stay alive in this one, get the leads where they can find them. One might be found here depending on how this challenge goes.
Yeah, they'll look at this one again. And really, Eastern Michigan just got to get that composure back, especially on the defensive side. They've kind of been spread out across. They've been scattered a lot. They need to get that back under control and get themselves set up to get their offense running again like it was in set 1.
Down official taking some time here.
A lot of stoppages in this game for reviews. We're sure to get the call right. At the beginning of the set like this, not as impactful as it would be later on in a match point set. But still not going to be helpful for momentum in this game. And Ohio is going to keep the point there. Service error called on Srinivasan. And Maddie Long will serve it here finally for Ohio. 3-2 the score. Maddie Long, third place in the MAC in service aces. Will try to get another one here off this serve. See Kenzie Brinkman, head coach, talking something over there with Gentry Brown before the serve. Over the net it goes. Belcher tries to set it up. Rejected there at the net, trying to get it over to Sifke. And Maddie Long couldn't get that powerful shot under control, and it's tied up at 3.
Yeah, I think she tried to pull away at that last second there. Grazes off her hands. Unfortunate result for her. This one's still early and it's still tied up is the good news for the Bobcats.
Eastern Michigan will try to take their first lead of set 4. Over the net it goes. Kendall White will set it up to the outside. Gentry Brown gets it down. And whatever Kenzie Brinkman was talking to her about before that last set worked out there as Gentry Brown gets the kill and Ohio takes the lead again. There's the hit. Trying to get it over there is Welker. She's rejected at the net. They'll switch it to the opposite side. Sifke couldn't get that one to go down either, and Gentry Brown will hit it again. Kind of just tipped up at the net there. Trying to get it again is Sifke. Gentry Brown pops it up. Kendall White gets it over. And it's going to be off of the Eastern Michigan player there. I believe that was Mahler who got in the way of that one, and it's 5-3 now in set 4. Up and over, Belcher. Over to the outside, good dig there by Curran, but too much on it, and Eastern Michigan will get the point there.
Yeah, an unfortunate result to that one. Like you said, a great dig by Curran to keep that one alive. Still very back and forth to start this one off, but has been each set between these two.
Hit up and over. White gets it to Gentry Brown. Good dig there by Voorhees. She'll set it up to the outside. Gard will try to get it down, and Maddie Long can't corral that one. Another Eastern Michigan point.
Yeah, Ohio definitely looking to get some switches in that back row here. Gentry Brown is who they target frequently. Worked out there.
Good dig there by Hickey. Gentry Brown gets it down, and there is
net violation. Yeah, antenna there. Swung right back in Eastern Michigan's favor.
Now Eastern Michigan with a little bit of momentum here in set 4. And it's gone there with the service error. And we're all tied up at 6 again. Eastern Michigan trying to force set 5 here. That's not how you do it with a service error.
Yeah, I've not seen that much from either team this game, honestly. A little surprising considering how many Ohio has on the season. Both been pretty solid with their serves tonight.
Curran will serve it there, get it up and over. The hit from Gard going to be dealt with by Ohio, and here's Gentry Brown trying to get it down, and it's off of the head of, I believe that is Welker, and she will get the kill and the point for Ohio. Here's the serve from Curran. Belcher sets it up. Kendall White hits it way up there, and Gentry Brown, it hits the net, and that time, I believe one too many hits on the Ohio side.
Yeah, that one didn't come off a blocker when Ohio thought it had, just off the top of the net. That's what the officials say there. I think that's a good call to make. Don't think anyone from Eastern Michigan put their hands on that one.
Kendall White will set it up over to Gentry Brown. They're really feeding her right now. Hit over. Good, strong hit there from Sifke. She's really coming alive in this set.
Yeah, just an absolute laser from Sifke with that one. She takes over as the total kill leader in this game. That's 16 for her. Leading Eastern Michigan by double Anna Guards, who only has 8.
Service error there for Eastern Michigan. A rare 2 service errors in one set here. Only 8 points in. Gentry Brown will serve. Ohio's been feeding her the rock here in this set. They're trying to get her a good look, but she's in the back row here to start this rally. Waddell tried to just tip that one over. Waddell will hit it up. Hickey will hit it up again, and there's Kildo. Good dig there by Sirnavasan to keep it alive. Guard is blocked at the net. Assisted block there by Kendall White. And I believe Kildo who got up there. Serve from Gentry Brown. Belcher fakes the set, just tips it over. Kildo can't get enough on that one, and it reflects back off the net. And we're all tied up again.
Yeah, just not a great position to be in there, but considering that was the last hit, that was honestly your best option. Just an unfortunate end for that one.
Seen again a back and forth set here at the beginning. Neither team really taking control. Waddell gets that one over. Sirnavasan sets it back up. Here's Guard, who's blocked at the net again. Waddell and Kendall White getting up. And some great blocking from the Bobcats in this match overall. They look way better than they have throughout the season.
Yeah, we saw it kind of start off in those 2 matches against Miami, especially that second match. Their blocking was well above their average, and we're seeing it again here.
Somehow Eastern Michigan kept that one alive, but Sierra Evans puts an end to it with the point there. And Ohio up by 2 now. They're trying to end this game. Good play there. We will get a timeout from Eastern Michigan. We'll step away while they talk it over. Stick with us for the rest of set 4. Set 4 here in the Convocation Center, 11-9 the score. Eastern Michigan trying to force set 5. Ohio trying to end it here. They'll start us off coming out of the Eastern Michigan timeout with a serve. Tipped over there. Good dig by Waddell to keep it alive. Belcher hits it back up. Tockets gets it back over the net. Kildo trying to end it, and she does. It comes off of the Eastern Michigan blockers, and Ohio will get the point.
Yeah, Ohio really feeling like they're more in control of this set, just like last time around. You can feel that they're kind of playing cool, calm, and collected. Eastern Michigan playing most certainly on their heels. Hitting poor from both teams, honestly. In this one, Ohio just hitting barely over 100. Eastern Michigan hitting 48.
Hit up there. Sirnavasan gets it back over to Sifke, who gets her hit to fall somehow, and Eastern Michigan gets the point.
Yeah, Kendall White just mistimed that joust at the net there. Made it real easy for Sifke to put that one right on the ground. Unfortunate result of an unfortunate overpass for Ohio.
Here comes the serve from Grasson. Up and over, Karan gets it to Kendall White, who gets it to Sierra Evans, who places it between 3 Eagles, and they get the point.
Yeah, that's just a beautiful one-ball set there from Kendall White. Puts that one right in front of her. Honestly, too low, if anything. It's just a quick push. That's an easy point.
Sierra Evans been a little bit of a contributor here tonight as well. Hit up there by Belcher, off the net and over. Kendall White sets it up to the outside to Bailey Blair. Kept alive. Good dig there by Hickey. And Kildo. Rally continues. Good save by Sirinivasan. Hickey sets it to Blair, who just kind of tips it over. Still going. Hit over. Good dig there. Bailey Blair.
Outside of the antenna there on that one.
Too excited to hit that one back over, and Eastern Michigan will draw the lead down to 2. Here's Sirinivasan for the serve. She's been out there almost the entire game, and she gets it up and over the net, and that time Gentry Brown, who continues to be targeted there back on the back line, can't get it up.
Yeah, this one still back and forth between both teams. Certain outcome here. Ohio had a lead for a little bit, but some silly mistakes from them kind of let Eastern Michigan get back into this one.
Set up there to the outside. Kildo will hit it again. Blocked once again. Kendall White sets it up over to Blair, who puts way too much on it, and now all of a sudden Eastern Michigan's all tied up again.
Yeah, not too surprising in this one. There's another error from Bailey Blair. Haven't seen too many from her this game. Only 6. Second on the team, tied for second on the team, and she's been hitting pretty good in general.
That time, Ohio wise to let it go. Service error on the Eagles. And Ohio up 14-13 now, as here comes the serve from Maddie Long. Serve up and over. Good dig there by Grasson. Kendall White gets it across the court to Gentry Brown, and she is blocked, but it goes out, and Ohio will get the point.
Yeah, Eastern Michigan thought that one was theirs on that one. And it is after review.
So we're tied up again. A lot of close calls in this game. Ref does a good job there to make the right one. Eastern Michigan will get the serve now. Up and over from Voorhees. Kendall White. Over to Bailey Blair, who's blocked. Ohio able to keep it alive. There's Gentry Brown, who tries to knock it down. Blocked at the net there by Ohio. Sifke will get it to fall for her, and Eastern Michigan's got the lead. Strong hit there by Ava Sifke.
Yeah, they just kept hitting that wall up front. And at some point, it was bound to let a ball through. Sifke having herself a monster game with 17 kills so far.
Here's the serve from Voorhees. Dealt with by Maddie Long, who gets it to White, and it's going to bounce off of Voorhees, and Evans will get the kill there. We're all tied up at 15 again. This is a back and forth set.
Yeah, it's as back and forth as it can get, really. No one able to get a huge lead here.
And it falls down there for the Ohio point. They'll take the lead. Kendall Hickey will serve. Sorry, Darby Ricketts in the game now. Sirinivasan gets it. Up and over it goes for Welker. And she gets the kill there. Beautiful placed ball.
Seems like each time One team thinks they're going to get a little bit of a lead. The other team has the answer almost instantly.
Here's the serve. Hit up. And just kind of tipped over there by Blair. Tipped over again, and it bounces off the net back on Eastern Michigan's side. Guard couldn't get it to go over the net.
Yeah, good job there by Blair, getting her hands on that one, putting it right back down. Then, like you said, Guard, just an unfortunate angle for her. Could not do anything about that.
Here's Coran to serve. She gets it over. That set had a little bit too much on it, and Ohio takes advantage. They'll get another point. They're up to 18 on the set. Here comes the serve from Coran. Sirnivasan gets it up to Voorhees, who gets it out to the outside, and it's going to go off of Ohio, and it will go as an Eastern Michigan point.
Yeah, Ohio still holding on to a lead here, but no lead is safe, I'd say, in this kind of game.
And another service error for Eastern Michigan. That's their third of the set.
Yeah, and, you know, that's more than Ohio has in total, 2 in this match for Ohio, 5 in total for Eastern Michigan. They got to call a timeout here. I think that's the smart move to make, down 19-17. You know, hopefully you come out of this timeout feeling re-energized, but it's just looking rough for them in these last few points.
Yeah, they're just the consistency just isn't there for Eastern Michigan. And it was looking close there for a while in the set, kind of looking like set 2, which Ohio barely scraped away with the win in. And right now, Ohio's trying to build off this momentum and take control, win this set, and win the match.
Yeah, now to say that this has been a great set by either team would be being quite more than generous to both of them. Eastern Michigan hitting .086. Ohio leading by 2, somehow hitting .065. Not a great set from either team. Ohio still leading in errors in this set, 2-7 compared to Eastern Michigan's 4. It's just by those miracles of 3 service errors from Eastern Michigan that they are leading in this one, along with their own service ace. It's just very lucky from Ohio so far, but luckily for them as well. Eastern Michigan is not playing a great set. This is really a battle of will and who wants it more in this chaotic set. Can't really say who's going to end up with this one.
These two teams battle each other again tomorrow at 3. So whoever wins this first game will have the momentum going into that and the opportunity to sweep the series, which will be a huge help for both teams when you look at the standings and when you look towards the end of the MAC season and tournament play. The top 6 teams make it. Here the serve from Gentry Brown. Set up to the outside. Good dig there by Coran. Keeps it alive. Here's Kildo. And it's going to stay in for the Ohio point. Barely stays in there.
Yeah, I think they are calling the official ruling as there was a hand on that one from Eastern Michigan, but Ohio doesn't care. It's a point anyways. They're the first to hit that 20 mark.
Voorhees will set it up to the outside for Guard. Guard is rejected there at the net. And it falls outside of the court of play. 20-18 now the score. Still within 2. Still anyone's set.
Yeah, to say that was making the best out of a bad situation would be kind to Eastern Michigan. A rough set there. Really, really benefiting off that block.
The dig there keeps it alive. Hickey just kind of scoops it up and over. Good setup there, but too much on it. And Ohio up to 21 on the set. Right idea there from Belcher, but just too much power.
Yeah, Foman is going to challenge that one. I think that's a solid challenge to make in this kind of situation. Down 3 in what could be the final set of the match. I think that was also very close there. Not quite sure one way or another. See what the down official says, but you know, either way, Like we've said a few times, this certainly kills momentum for Ohio. So it's a good use of a challenge either way by Eastern Michigan. It's really a timeout without a timeout.
Yeah, it's really hard to judge on those fast hits, too, that are so close to the line if it's in or if it's out. And remember, if it just hits that line, it counts as in. So good challenge here. We'll get another review. Got to think, though, this is going to be a boost for Ohio if they can win this challenge. They can kind of continue on this run and hopefully just end it if you're a Bobcat fan.
Yeah, but I don't know. That was a very close ball. I wouldn't be surprised if the down official says that one was right on the line. Either way, Ohio still is going to have the lead coming out of this one. They would much rather have a 3-point lead than a 1-point-1, though. Just taking a second to see what the official says on this one.
Still waiting for the official verdict here.
Just not sure there's going to be enough to overturn it, certainly, depending on the camera angles he has available to him.
And if that's another attack error, that rough showing for both teams on the season so far in attack errors. They're first and second. We mentioned it a lot tonight. Ohio with 469 coming into this game. Eastern Michigan with 443. That's 12th and 11th in the MAC. It's going to stand there. Not enough to overturn it, so it goes as an attack error. Another one for Eastern Michigan, and Ohio will keep their 3-point lead.
Yeah, and that's a big break for Ohio. Eastern Michigan, like I said, though, still coming out of this one with the momentum killed for Ohio. It's not entirely out of reach for them. They're only 7 points away from putting this one away. But if Ohio gets 3 more, they're sending this one at least to extra points.
Here is Waddell, who will serve it right into the net, and a service error for Ohio. You wonder if that's that momentum being killed by the challenge.
Yeah, it's like icing the kicker in football. Take the server out of their zone. It's hard to get back into it.
Here's Grasson now to serve it. White will set it up for Evans, who again, second time we've seen that in this set. She kind of just pops it over right into the open spot on the Eastern Michigan side, and Ohio back to the 3-point lead.
Yeah, just a nice sequence there in all forms.
Here's the serve. Srinivasan sets it up to Belcher, who gets it out to the outside. Gentry Brown able to keep it alive. Kildow will hit it. Srinivasan keeps it up. Good dig there by Brown. Kildow again. Really feeding it to Kildow right now, and she gets it down. Good dig by Srinivasan to keep the rally alive, and Gentry Brown too far away from that one. Eastern Michigan will get the point.
Yeah, Gentry Brown had some good digs at the start of that rally there, but Eastern Michigan kept going with their game plan, which was targeting her in the back there, and eventually it worked out for them. Her feet just not close enough to that ball, could not shuffle to it in time.
Here's the serve. Hickey will deal with it. Here's White. And just miscommunication there. Darby Evans jumped too early.
Yeah, no one, like you said, really jumping with that ball. That's a small mistake that could end up being costly big time, as Ohio has to take a timeout here.
So Ohio will talk things over here with a 1-point lead. Really one of the first real big miscommunications we've seen from Ohio in this set. They've looked definitely like the more composed team out there. They're really letting their plays run. They really like feeding that one hitter. It was Gentry Brown earlier, and right now it's Tori Kildow.
Yeah, but as I mentioned before, stats not looking great for either team. Ohio definitely stepping it up now, though. They've almost doubled their hitting percentage. They're at about 111 right now. But definitely still not great from either team. The digs are looking pretty solid, though, from both of them the entire night. Ohio with a monstrous 83. Eastern Michigan at 68, but we mentioned it. A lot of these rallies and sets are led by what the liberos can do in that back row. You're seeing it matter now, especially whoever can keep this ball up is going to come away with it.
It's gonna look shaping up to be another close finish here. Reflections of set 2, which was decided by less than 5. And Eastern Michigan will try to tie it up here coming out of the Ohio timeout.
Yeah, the last thing Eastern Michigan needs right now is yet another service error. Really kill all the momentum they have coming into this.
Here comes the serve from Srinivasan. Good dig there to keep it alive. Kendall White gets it over to Kildow, and a great block by Eastern Michigan. And they tie it up at 22. This set could easily go into extra points.
Yeah, I would not be surprised about that at all, but we said that about set 2, and Ohio came and put 2 away. See how this one actually plays.
Eastern Michigan trying to force set 5 here. White gets it to Blair, and Blair puts it down for the Ohio point. They have a chance to end it now.
Blair's been that woman the entire night. That's her 16th kill, leading Ohio by a nice margin, and she's hitting well, too. It'll be over 300 after that one, just under it, really.
Here's the serve from Maddie Long. Eastern Michigan trying to answer back, and they just tip it over. Welker gets the point. We're tied up. This is what it looked like during set 2, but then Ohio got 2 points in a row to end it. Eastern Michigan got to try to avoid that here.
Yeah, Eastern Michigan had that serve as well on those last 2 points to start it out. Ohio put it away. Looking to do the same here.
Serve from Voorhees. Hit down by Bailey Blair, and a good block there. Eastern Michigan will get the first point there as they were knotted up at 23, and now Eastern Michigan has a chance to win set 4 and force set 5.
Yeah, and that's a good timeout to take there. We saw it work in the opposite direction. Ohio had a timeout taken on them by Eastern Michigan, iced the server there, but Ohio's really just focused on this next point, not necessarily about winning the set right now. They want to get this into extra points. They can really get into their zone.
Man, it's been a fun game to watch. It looked like Ohio was going to kind of end this set in control after how they ended set 3, but Eastern Michigan was not done yet, and they have crawled their way back into a lead here in set 4. They've got the momentum, but with this timeout, trying to ice them a little bit. They only need 1 more point to win the set, but Ohio could easily force extra points.
Yeah, still no saying for sure which way this is going to go, but most certainly Eastern Michigan in the driver's seat right now, up 1, got the serve too. You know, with how Ohio has missed some balls that result in aces, would not be surprised if that happens again. It's just something you got to be keyed in on if you're a Bobcat player.
So we'll come out of the timeout. Voorhees will serve it for the Eagles. Ohio trying to stop it here. Set point for the Eastern Michigan team, and they are trying to force set 5. Here's the serve. Dealt with well by Gentry Brown. Kendall White sets it up over to Gentry Brown. It's blocked! And there it is. 25 points for the Eagles. That will do it for set 4. The teams will switch sides, and we will get a 5th set here in the convo in this Thursday night Maction volleyball game. We'll step away for just a second before we bring you the final set. We welcome you back. It's set 5 here. Eastern Michigan was able to force the final set here. Remember, set 5 only goes to 15. And they'll switch sides halfway through. But neither team looked in control that last set. Neither team really even looked that great in that last set. A lot of mistakes from both sides.
Yeah, that's saying the least, really. Eastern Michigan, the better-looking team, obviously. They won that one, hitting 119 in that one. Ohio hitting a nice .050. It's far from what you'd like to see from that team. It's far under their season average, honestly, to go along with 10 errors as compared to only 12 kills. Eastern Michigan holding it down at only 5 errors. They had 3 service errors, sure, but their attack errors for Ohio just held them back, and that's why they looked so good in set 3. Those errors were toned down. That in percentage was up. Eastern Michigan, we've talked about it a few times, their stats on paper are just really above average in all categories. I'm trying to translate that into an actual win here.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see which team's going to play more consistent in set 5. Eastern Michigan will get the first serve. And set 5 underway with the serve from Voorhees. And a service error to start for Eastern Michigan. Not how they want to start set 5.
Yeah, most certainly not how you want to start it, but it's honestly better to get that one out of the way early than have that in a back and forth situation.
That's their 6th service error of the night. Not been their best night serving-wise. Good dig there by Maddie Long. Hickey gets it out to Gentry Brown. Up, and Maddie Long couldn't get underneath that one. Good hit from Welker, and Eastern Michigan gets their first point at set 5.
Yeah, just an unfortunate ricochet off the block there. Dropped it right outside of Maddie Long's reach.
The serve back to Maddie Long. They're really targeting her back there on the serves. Gentry Brown trying to get it to fall. Done a good job covering Gentry Brown in this game. Too much on it for Eastern Michigan there. And there's the second Ohio point of set 5.
Yeah, cross shot. Just not very accurate there on that one.
Ricketts with the serve, gets it over. Voorhees sets it up to guard. Maddie Long deals with it there on the back line. Bailey Blair, been the leading scorer, can't get that one to fall for her, and Ricketts able to get underneath it, but too much power, and we're tied up again.
Yeah, it would have been a solid attempt there from Ricketts. Just so happened that Maddie Long had also dove for it. So they both were in that direction. No one able to receive it on the second touch.
Welker with the serve. Waddell trying to get it to go down, but too much on it, and Eastern Michigan gets the point.
Turn to their older players here, Gentry Brown, Emily Waddell, but someone you'd like to see involved a little bit in this final set is Bailey Blair, leading the team in kills and hitting very well on the night.
Somehow trying to keep it alive there. Miscommunication at the net, and Eastern Michigan takes the 2-point lead. Silly mistakes like that you got to avoid late in a game like this.
That's another mistake, though. Rough service error. 2 already this set, and I said it after that first one, you'd rather have one in the first one than in a back-and-forth situation. This is the back-and-forth situation I'm talking about. You're giving Ohio some life here.
Curran will serve it. Voorhees sets it up for Welker. White sets it up for Waddell, who just kind of tips it over. Here's Gar trying to get it over. Waddell puts it back over the net. Sirinivasan gets it over, ricochets off Eastern Michigan, and we're tied up again here in the convo.
Yeah, almost every single one of those hits left something to be desired there, just pushes and tips over. That was all they could muster up there. That final one, when it had some power behind it, just rebounded right back onto their side of the court.
Curran will serve again. Set up, And I believe the block went out there. Eastern Michigan will get the point. Ohio's been pretty good blocking tonight, but that time, too much power on the hit.
Yeah, they definitely have been stepping up blocking-wise these last few games, but that one just could not swing their way.
Here the serve from Belcher. White trying to just tip that one over. Dealt with well. Guard. That one dealt with by Hickey. Waddell just kind of tips that one over. Eastern Michigan trying to get that one under control, but Srinivasan's hit's going to go out, and we're tied up again at 5.
Just like every other set so far in this match, it's a real back-and-forth battle. This one won't have as much time to go back and forth, though.
Hit up there. White tries to set it up for Waddell. She's rejected at the net. That one barely gets over there from White. Here's the hit from guard. Doug somehow trying to keep it alive, but it's too far out of play. And Eastern Michigan will get the point. Just inconsistency on the defensive end of the court for both sides, really, starting this set off.
Yeah, inconsistency all around, honestly. Neither of them hitting better than 0% right now. Ohio in the negatives.
White tries to set it up across the court, and it's going to go for Ohio there. Kildo gets the kill. Tied at 6. Right now, this one looks like the 15-point set could go to 25.
Yeah, that was a nice little jump from the 10-foot line there to put it down and tie this one up.
Here's the serve from Waddell. Belcher gets it over to Sifke, and it falls for the Eagles. Still back and forth. They'll take the point there.
It's definitely been a few points since we've mentioned her name, but she has been the most productive attacker on the floor tonight. That's kill number 19 for her, hitting about 26%.
There goes Kildo with the hit, dealt with well by the Eagles. Hit over. White sets it up for Evans. And good hit down there. Welker deals with it well. And Eastern Michigan with the biggest lead so far in this set. Teams will switch. Teams will switch sides here after a little bit of confusion.
They were held up.
So 8-6 the score here in the final set. As they talk it over, we'll step away for the break. Welcome back to set 5 here in Athens. Eastern Michigan up by 2. The team switch sides. Set to be a great finish here for what has been a back and forth match. And Srinivasan will get us underway with the serve. The spike down there by Sierra Evans will give Ohio the serve, and the lead is back down to 1. This has been neither team's dominating set so far.
Yeah, that's definitely kind to both of them, but at this point it doesn't matter about the stats, it matters about who gets those points in any way possible.
The miscommunication there, still able to keep it up. There's Gentry Brown, but the second time she can't get it over the net, and now it's 9-7.
It's those out-of-system plays that really win you the set. You're not always going to have the perfect setup. That time was far from it from Ohio. They just could not capitalize on it.
So the serve coming from Eastern Michigan. Here's Voorhees. She'll get it over. Kinda White runs to set that one up for Kildow. Belcher will set it up for Sifke, and Sifke gets just a little bit too little on it. And back down to a 1-point lead. And an Ohio serve.
Yeah, that's a rare mistake from Sifke tonight, but a costly one nonetheless. Got the chance to hit that double digits before Ohio. Instead, keeping this at a 1-point game. Ohio getting a big break there.
Hit over. Sirinivasan gets it to Belcher. Belcher over to Sifke. Set up there from White. Over it goes from Sifke. And Bailey Blair able to tie it back up. We were wondering when they'd get her more involved again, and that time she gets the kill.
Yeah, that is kill number 17 for her. By far been the most efficient player on the floor for Ohio tonight. She's who you need to turn to in moments like this, and they did. That's why it's tied up. She's hitting 26-3 here. Definitely a stellar game for her. She's been on a streak so far.
So the timeout coming as we see Bobcats mascots come out here. 9-9 to score. This is still really anyone's set. It's been so back and forth tonight, and we really thought Ohio was going to be able to carry some momentum into the fourth set, but Eastern Michigan decided they wanted to draw this one out to 5.
Yeah, but this is going to be a big win for either team here, showing you can come away with close in-conference wins. That's really how you measure how far your program has come along this year, and you know, you're breathing a little easy. Definitely going to be a scrappy game tomorrow based off this. I'm sure both teams going to be worn out and tired. Would not be surprised to see another 5 sets tomorrow.
And not even 24 hours from now, these teams are going to play each other again. 3 p.m. tomorrow. Again, we brought to you here on ESPN+. Both teams come out now after the timeout, looking to come away with a close win and keep their win streaks alive. As we get closer to MAC tournament play, like we've mentioned a lot, this a big one for MAC standings, and to get this 2-game series underway. Here comes the serve from Ohio. Dealt with well. Voorhees gets it over, and the block goes out of bounds. Eastern Michigan will get the points. They're back up by 1.
Yeah, a lot of Ohio points coming really from Eastern Michigan mistakes. And Eastern Michigan kind of reeling it back here these last few points.
Good setup there. Still alive for Eastern Michigan, but they couldn't get underneath it in time. And Bailey Blair's going to get the point for Ohio.
Yeah, you really want to keep her in this rotation as long as possible here. Try not to rotate out of it. It's 2 kills in a row for her.
Here's the serve from Ohio, and kind of what we saw in the second set that Eastern Michigan really lost. Those digs going way out of play. And that time Sirinivasan couldn't get underneath it as it went into the crowd. Ohio with the first lead here in the 5th set that they've had in a while. Voorhees, the timing was off, somehow still made it over.
Right on the line there, incredible hit.
Great accuracy there from Gentry Brown.
Yeah, keeping it close there, right on the line, but everyone from the Eagles had crept forward there on that one. She says, hey, I got to put this in the back. discussion about it. They're going to review it. They might not have originally been awarding that point to Ohio. I think that one is honestly clearly inbounds, but unless the call was given that it was in the net or otherwise, that should be Ohio's point.
Yeah, that one definitely looked like it was on the line. Smart challenge here by Ohio. Let's put them up by 2. And only 3 points away from winning this one outright.
It's been a lot of challenges so far this game. Going in both directions, honestly.
These teams still on their run for the playoffs. Top 6 teams make the MAC tournament. MAC championship on November 23rd. It'll be interesting to see how that shapes out. Really outside of the top 2 teams. The middle of the MAC is very competitive, and it's really anyone's game as of right now.
Yeah, that's for sure. As you said, those top 2 teams, Ball State and Bowling Green, kind of untouchable right now. Ball State undefeated in the conference, Bowling Green with 1 loss. Now, get down to Toledo. They're sitting at 5-2 right now. Definitely not untouchable. And that group of Northern Illinois, Miami, Buffalo, and Ohio, all 3-4, with only Western Michigan above them at 4-3. You know, this really is still anyone's race for those final tournament spots. Eastern Michigan tied for last at 2-5. You know, you come away with this series win, you're fighting for that final spot. For either team, honestly, would be a lot more beneficial for Ohio. They would get a lot closer, but Eastern Michigan does need this to keep their hopes alive.
Yeah, and I think we all thought that this MAC championship was really going to play out differently in terms of standings. A lot of the teams were coming in here winless or without many wins off of big losing streaks, and it turns out that the MAC play has been very competitive towards the bottom especially, and a lot of teams able to scrape up at least 2 wins. No one has less than 2 wins in the standings, so very close race to the tournament as we get into the latter part of the season. It's homecoming weekend here at Ohio University, so maybe some extra motivation there from the Bobcats to win tonight and tomorrow at 3. It's a long review.
They're going to give it to Eastern Michigan. I'm honestly a little surprised by that, unless they did say that the call was in the net there. And really must have been what it was, because I thought that one was hands down on the line at the very worst. But for Ohio, it's still just tie game here.
All knotted up at 11. 15 to win here in set 5. Kendall White rejected there. Sorry, that is Waddell trying to get it down, and she does for the Ohio kill. They only need 3 more to win the final set, and they'll get the serve here. Emily Waddell coming up big when it mattered most.
Yeah, the unfortunate part there is Bailey Blair out of rotation now, but still, they'll take that point where you can get it.
Here's the serve. Voorhees sets it up to the outside, and it's rejected by the Bobcats. Bonnie couldn't get it over, and the Bobcats get the point, 2 away from the win.
They're in the driver's seat right now, but, you know, no surprise timeout is called there. It's no surprise because, you know, they've been feeling pretty good. This lead is not large. Obviously, Ohio splitting the difference between Eastern Michigan and winning this set outright. Eastern Michigan 4 away from winning this one. It's still no guarantee one way or another.
Yeah, it's really going to determine. It's going to come down to that final run where the team's going to get the most momentum. And right now, Ohio's trying to get that right now, but those timeouts really mess with momentum. That's why Eastern Michigan's taking one right now. 2 away from the win. This game shaped up very close. We pretty much expected it to. Ohio 8th in the MAC coming into this game. Eastern Michigan 10th in the MAC, both with a few wins, few losses in the MAC. Ohio, though, 11 game losing streak before they finally got 3 in a row. And Eastern Michigan has won 2 of their last 3, sweeping the series against Kent State.
Yeah, and, this set has not been pretty by any means. Honestly, this entire match hasn't been for either team because it's been so gritty and scrappy. Ohio hitting .091. Eastern Michigan doing better, but not by much. .095, 5 errors from Eastern Michigan, 3 from Ohio. This is really just a battle of will and determination here. Take those points by any means necessary. That's what we're seeing for both teams so far in this 5th set.
We've seen both teams get close to negative hit percentage in this game. So they're definitely going to want to talk things over. Not the best on paper for either side, but a close game like this is still huge for momentum in terms of in-conference play. Here's the hit from guard, and it falls for Eastern Michigan.
And that is a big break for Eastern Michigan. Ohio just looking for 1 point here. They want to get this one into at least the extra points. Worry 1 point at a time. That's what the mentality's got to be. I'm sure that's what their coaches were telling the players in the timeout. 1 point at a time, that's how you win these games.
Here's the serve. Hit up. Kendall White will try to set it up for Gentry Brown. Siren and Vossen gets it over, and it's going to fall for Mahler. All tied up here at 13. And it is anyone's game here.
Yeah, 1 point between this and extra points at least. Another timeout, and I think that's another good call of it there. You've seen these teams that are calling the timeouts come out with a lot of momentum. Their coaches have prepared them well. Ohio trying to do that same thing here, trying to really honestly put a hold on this Eastern Michigan momentum, that bench into it, Eastern Michigan fans here into it. Ohio needs to get into it now if they want to get extra points forced.
Close games like this are really a big testament to coaching. Both these coaches fairly new to their programs. Obviously, Kenzie Brinkman, the first season with her at the helm of the Bobcat volleyball team. But on the other side, Kevin Foman, only his 3rd season. And last season was really Eastern Michigan's first season where they've really had a little bit of success. They're trying to start another bit of success here in terms of MAC play, trying to pick up a win here, maybe win this series and still make that tournament.
Yeah, it really is a big look to the future for both teams depending on how this one goes. But as I said, really just got to take this 1 step at a time. I'm sure that's what they're hearing as they're coming out of the timeout once again. Eastern Michigan sitting in the driver's seat, as we've seen a few times this match. They got the ball. They got to draw in these service errors. We saw 2 already this set, 3 already last set. Trying to come from behind here, down 2-1 sets after the 3rd.
So here the serve coming from Eastern Michigan. They get it over. Kendall White will try to set it up for Waddell. She's rejected at the net. Trying to get it over to Gentry Brown, and it's out. 14 points for Eastern Michigan. They need 1 more for the win.
Eastern Michigan is certainly feeling it on the bench and on the court. You got to call another timeout here. I think that's another good call to make. You got to really cool this team off. They have been going crazy. And, that error by Gentry Brown sends her into the negative hitting percentage tonight. She started off great, had 11 kills, was heating up early, key focus of this offense. And then, we saw error after error after error. She's at 12 errors, more than her 11 kills, hitting negative .020. But, this is one of those moments where, like I've said, statistics don't matter. You just got to keep swinging.
Yeah, Gentry Brown can definitely get those kills. It was something she struggled with through the first part of the season. She had that negative hit percentage overall. Kind of honed it down a little bit the last few games. It's been a big part of why Ohio's won some games. But really, Eastern Michigan's had her number at the net a lot tonight. They're jumping up. They're rejecting a lot of her hits. And it's why she's struggled to get points. And that's where Bailey Blair is really coming for Ohio. A little bit taller, opposite side. She's able to take advantage of the holes on that Eastern Michigan side as they're trying to cover Gentry Brown.
Ohio already look at it here, I think this was more of a cooling off Eastern Michigan kind of timeout than a strategy timeout for them. Eastern Michigan does not seem any cooler on the sideline. They seem heated and ready to take this one. Ohio, just 1 point is all they're concerned about right now. Stay alive is what matters.
Belcher will serve it. Match point here in the Convocation Center. Hit up and over. Kendall White will try to set it. Still alive, Waddell.
That is Ohio point.
And Ohio will keep it alive. Net violation there. And we're knotted up at 14. We're going to get extra points. Neither team can stop it anymore. They use their 2 timeouts. We're going to play through here to the finish. Unless we get a review.
And I think Feldman just looking for an explanation at this point. Don't think he's going to pull out that review card. Honestly, smart move.
Brown will serve. Hit up. Belcher sets it up. Hickey over to White. White over to Kildow, and Kildow puts it down. Ohio at 15, but they need 2 to win. And now they're in the driver's seat a little bit. Eastern Michigan probably wishing they had a timeout left.
Yeah, in the driver's seat, but not out of the woods yet. They've got Gentry Brown in that back row, and that's who Eastern Michigan loves to target back there.
Serve dealt with. Belcher gets it over. Kendall White over to Waddell, kept alive by Ohio. Kildow will try to hit it over again. Good dig there to save it by Sirinivasan. And there it is. Ohio will come away with the win off the attack error there to end it. What a game here. Went to 5 sets. We want to thank you so much for sticking with us. What a game. Ohio going to scrape away. They'll extend their MAC record to 4-4. Eastern Michigan will fall to 2-6 in the MAC. They'll see each other again tomorrow at 3 p.m. Tune in again with us on ESPN+. We'll bring you that game. I'm Max Earl. With me is Tyler Bush. Want to give a shout out to all of our directors, producers, and all the operators back there. We will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching.